And that's because I think so many things work. And we have so many people now who are sharing what worked well for them and what they enjoy. What I encourage you to do is remember when we were kids and our parents would enroll us in like a t-ball class, and we're like, oh yeah, we don't really like t-ball, and it's not like a class, right? You can tell I am not a sports enthusiast. So I moved on from t-ball and then went to soccer. Well, I tried that for 3 years and it was like, not really my thing anymore. And so my parents enrolled me in something else. We keep allowing our children to explore, and we explored when we were kids. And over the years, we get into patterns of the adults like, nope, I don't like that. I only like this one type of movement, this one type of activity. But I found for a lot of people, once they open that door and say, well, what if we just try something new and allow ourselves time to be a beginner and have that learning curve? Now, that learning curve for all of us is going to be different depending upon what we've done in the past. So there's some people who come to Pilates and it's like, oh yeah, this kind of feels familiar. I did like group fitness, I did a little bit of yoga, and some of these exercises and movements feel similar. So that's great. There's other people who maybe haven't worked out in a really long time. It feels all new and it feels just like, oh my gosh, this is all new. Can we stick with that? And as we keep coming back every time, you'll realize, oh yeah, I remember that one element. For me right now, I have just enrolled in a tap class, and I have not done tap since I was like 10 years old. And let me tell you, it feels all new, but it's kind of coming back. So I did a little bit of that when I was 10 years old, the flat, the shuffle, and the buffalo, all these things. But I'm still very new compared to people who have been there a year. And I just need to give myself more time to remember the steps. And you know what? I kind of just laugh it off. I tend not to get frustrated if I miss a beat, because I know that I'm going to be doing very similar steps the next time that I come back to that class. And it's something that honestly I had to learn for myself first, and then I realized, oh, it feels better to do what I'm doing now compared to how I tried to force it. And I get it that we are all at different life stages, and what really didn't work for me was trying to hold on to what worked for me in the past. So as an example, when I had my kids and I went from one child to having two, and I was working full time now, it's like, how do I fit in workouts? And I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do workouts at the park. Those were like really popular when my kids were little. I'm not sure if they're as popular now. And I'm like doing my workout around the park, and my youngest says, Mom, can't you just play with us? And my heart just dropped. She's like, oh my goodness, I thought I was doing like something good, because part of why I work out is I want to be here as long as possible for my kids. And I know workouts is part of that, but I'm ignoring them right now. And so that was a pause for me that, you know what, I'm going to just shorten my workouts and do them like first thing in the morning. I did that for a little bit. No longer am I a morning workouter. It's not my jam right now. And instead, I played with my kids. And here's the thing, informal activities, playing with your kids in the park, doing groundies, chasing them, helping them up and down in equipment is physical activity and movement, and just as valuable as an official workout, whether it's going to the gym or that park playground workout I was trying to do. And at the same time, there's an added bonus because I'm now bonding with those who I love the most.
Right, absolutely. And it doesn't feel like a workout or something that you have to do.
Slow foundational work to begin with. When I first started Pilates, I took a continuing education, and it was all about how to engage the pelvic floor and could you see it as a Pilates teacher. What the research actually shows us now is that when we teach Pilates with integrity, and therefore when we move with integrity, focusing on deep breathing has been shown to help with proper core activation and pelvic floor activation. Pelvic floor dysfunction is really common, whether someone's been pregnant or not, but it's so common that people think like, oh, I just have to live with it and it's just going to continue to get worse. But instead, whether we are older or younger, we think, okay, if workouts are valuable and I'm experiencing incontinence, then most likely we need to turn down the dial of intensity for our workouts. It's never a bad thing. It can be really beneficial as well if someone has the resources to work one-on-one, even for a few sessions, with a pelvic floor physical therapist, because they have additional training specific to pelvic floor. And for many people who maybe haven't had the opportunity, who have worked with me, they've noticed by simply focusing on the foundations, really emphasizing stability, that the pressure feels optimal in their body. And this is something that we do have to feel into. And so we turn down the dial of intensity sometimes with our abdominal work. Even with like running, we would maybe want to adjust for some time. Instead of running, we're going to do some walking instead while the pelvic floor has time to heal and recover. That actually, incontinence gets better over time. And we don't have to think doing Kegels or squeeze anything. Instead, it's letting the Pilates method do the work and having that consistent practice. So it's deep breathing. I would say foundations, like the foundations program or Pilates for beginners that Trifecta Pilates offers, and giving it time. Because if you have been maybe managing this for many years, for many people who I have worked with, it's not going to be like one session and all of a sudden it's fixed. It's going to take some time. And what a lot of people have recognized is, as they start to get more in tune with what is that positive pressure, what feels like too much, is that actually fluctuates throughout the day for them sometimes. And they'll notice that even on some days, maybe they can do something a little bit more higher intensity, and other days they need to scale it back. And having that autonomy, rather than thinking, I need to do an exercise for this length of time with my legs in this certain position, while making adjustments so we can personalize it instead, is really how Pilates shines and what makes it so valuable.
So, what are some common challenges people face when practicing Pilates that you have observed?
Well, there's, I would say, physical challenges that people experience. Incontinence, we mentioned, is one. A lot of times people may not tell their Pilates teachers about that. There's still some embarrassment about it, which there definitely should not be, because it is so prevalent. Back pain or discomfort is another one that I've worked with people over the years. The neck, neck not feeling good, or like neck pain, is how people experience their life. And sometimes even with certain exercises can exacerbate it, depending upon what's going on with someone. So those are some common issues. But I've worked with everything from people have had a hip replacement, knee replacement, ankle. I mean, it's just, there are common areas in the body, and at the same time, how it expresses for each one of us, and the degree, whether it's like just kind of uncomfortable, or yes, this is pain and now impacting my life, my workouts, and I need to do something about it, can really vary. And I encourage people to start listening to the whisper, because the whisper of, oh, my neck is feeling a little bit uncomfortable, if we just ignore that, sometimes our body turns up the signal until we listen and like either stop doing something which we know isn't helpful, or we have to then find resources of how to move different ways. So instead, we listen to the whisper and see, okay, well, what small adjustment makes me feel better in this moment, can go so long as far as being able to continue to move and adapt. Because let's face it, whether we maybe slept in a funky position or maybe we rolled our ankle, we're not always going to like feel amazing. And I encourage people, focus on what can you do that is going to be a positive movement forward.
Well, thank you so much, Beth, for coming on the show. Where can our viewers learn more about your work?
The best way to find me is at trifectapilates.com. You can find out everything that we offer, from the membership and app and more.
Hey guys, I would like to take a moment to introduce you to our app, Yoga Plus. You will have access to an incredible selection of videos led by top instructors in yoga, fitness, nutrition, and so much more. Download our Yoga Plus app available on iOS and Android today.